grew up in a Christian household where I went to church, and my parents and grandparents kind of read the Bible to us and taught us about the Bible. My relationship with God was very surface level. I was connected with God in the way that I kind of knew a lot about the Bible, but I never really had like a connection, I felt, and I never really felt like a relationship with God was important in my life. I was really in a bad place mentally, and I had this friend group that I just kind of put all my effort into, and just trying to get them to approve of me and like me, and it was just exhausting. I was just trying to get some connection because I felt kind of lonely. Before camp, I was in a dark place, and I remember just being feeling empty and just not having good friends and just kind of not knowing what to do. We found out about Rizn through our friends. One night we were hanging out and they invited us to Rizn. It was scary and nerve-wracking at first, but I got to kind of see people who had good relationships with God, and I got to see how they were joyful and just how they set a good example for me. And they encouraged me to come to camp. I was nervous about going to camp, but I was also feeling hopeful just in the way that they kind of talked about camp and built it up to be. I remember being really nervous before the morning of camp, and I just remember sitting there and being like, why did I choose to go? But I knew there was no going back. And once I got to camp, I kind of met my people that were in my dorm, and I remember just all the nervousness kind of going away in the first day. It was really fun, and I just remember the service having a really good message. I remember during Holy Spirit night, they were calling people up to go to the front to pray, and I felt like I should go up, and I remember none of my friends were really going up that I was sitting with, but I felt like I should go up, and I went up, and I remember praying with one of my leaders and just feeling like I felt God's presence for the first time. And I just felt like this switch had kind of flipped, where I felt like I really need to focus my life on Jesus and commit it to Him. After Holy Spirit night, I felt a lot of peace. I felt renewed. I remember feeling before camp just kind of empty and sad in a way, and I didn't really have much happiness in my life. And after camp, after connecting with Jesus and some better people around me, I remember just feeling like I was filled and I had people around me and a community around me, and then Jesus supporting me. I started to put my efforts more into connecting with Jesus and getting closer with Him. And I also started to dig deeper into the friendships that I was making at Rizn and at Celebration, and kind of just connecting with people who filled me up. I continued to kind of be built up by the community around me and the leaders at Rizn, and I eventually made the decision to get baptized. When I got baptized, my family came, my parents and my auntie and uncle and a couple of my cousins. And after that, my auntie and uncle came to Celebration and they really liked it, and they decided to get baptized. For anyone who felt like I did before camp, I would just encourage them to know that even if you're nervous and even if you don't want to take the step to sign up to go to camp, I think that you definitely should.